Now let us solve this problem on development of hexagonal prism. So in this case, it is mentioned that hexagonal prism is resting on its base on HP such that two of its base edges are perpendicular to vertical plane. So initially we have to draw top view of the prism with given condition. The condition is two of its base edges are perpendicular to vertical plane. So as we see here, this is the hexagonal prism. As we are now dealing with the development, I am not considering its top and the base, only we have to consider the lateral surface. So as we already discussed, the development of hexagonal prism will be 6 rectangles, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So we have to draw this overall development of this hexagonal prism. So while dealing with this problem, we have to first draw its top view with given condition. Given condition is two of the base edges are perpendicular to vertical plane. So first draw its top view. This is top view of this hexagonal prism. A, B, C, D, E, F are the corners of the base, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the corners at the face. So like this we have obtained the top view of the prism when it is resting on HP on its base. Now from this we have to draw its front view. Okay, so we have drawn the front view of the prism with given height of axis. So while drawing top view, we have to take these two base edges. So edge AB and edge DE perpendicular to XY, because two of the base edges are perpendicular to VP. And in front view, we have to mark the height of the prism and then draw this rectangle. So like this we have completed the top view with given side of base 30 and front view with given height of axis 70. Now we have to draw the overall development or total development of the lateral surface of this prism. That means now we have to draw such 6 rectangles by the method called as parallel line development. See how to draw. So first of all we have to draw two parallel lines from the base and top or face of the prism. Now along these parallel lines we have to take distance equal to the edge of base in compass and go on marking along this. So as we require 6 rectangular faces, we have to mark such distance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And as we see here, the development has such 6 faces, so we have to draw these lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 faces are nothing but the overall development of this prism. So this is the overall development of this prism. On the development we have to name the edges, like when we, let us say we start from A. So this is edge A, then B, C, D, E, F, and as we can see when we open about a particular edge, that edge appears once here and once here again. So that means if we start from A should again appear at the end. Same is the case with the points at the top, like we start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and back to 1. So this way, this is called as overall development of lateral surface of this hexagonal prism. It is mentioned in the statement that a plane which makes 30 degree to horizontal plane and perpendicular to vertical plane cuts prism at the midpoint of its axis. That means first of all we have to mark midpoint of the axis and then we have to draw one line which makes 30 degree to HP. So this is the cutting plane. So this is cutting plane. Now it cuts all the 6 edges of the prism. So if you see, if I cut this hexagonal prism by a cutting plane which makes 30 degree to HP and perpendicular to VP. So this is the cutting plane which is perpendicular to vertical plane and inclined to horizontal plane. We find that if I cut this solid by such a plane, then all the edges, vertical edges or longest edges of the prism are cut. So we have to first assume the common points, the points which are common to the edges of the prism and the cutting plane. So let us start from here. Here we can see edge A1 and B2 both are cut. So let us, I am just naming the point as, so P dash Q dash. Let us say here two edges are cut, edge D3 and F6 both are cut. So let us assume 2 points R dash S dash, and here also two edges are cut. That's why I am assuming 2 more points here, say T dash and U dash. Now how to obtain the points on the development? For that we have to draw horizontal lines through these common points. So draw horizontal projectors through these common points. Similarly, projector through RS and projector through these 2 points TU. Okay. Now we have to see point P dash or point P is on edge A1. So wherever this horizontal line cuts edge A1, we get first point as P. Then P is again on edge A1 and at the end we get here edge A1. So P will appear here again. Now where is Q? Q is on B2. So wherever this horizontal line cuts B2, we get point Q here. Then R is on C3. So trace this horizontal projector and wherever it intersects C3, we get point R here. Then point S. S is on edge F6. So wherever it intersects F6, we get point S here. Then T is on D4. So T is on D4. So on D4 we get point T, and on edge E5 we get point U. So on E5 we get point U. Now generally, whenever any solid is cut by cutting plane, it is assumed that the portion, the top portion, whenever we look the object from top, the portion between observer and cutting plane is assumed to be removed. That means we have to remove this top part. So as a convention, we have to make this bottom part thick. So the part which is retained, is generally made thick, and the part which is removed is kept thin. Same logic or same rule we have to apply on the development. First of all, we have to join the points by appropriate line or appropriate curve. We see here, when I cut plane surface by another plane surface, then the intersection will be in the form of line. A plane surface cut by another plane surface, intersection will be in the form of line. That's why all these points are to be joined by straight lines. So if we start joining, so P to Q, Q to R, R to the next point is T, then U, S, and back to P. And as we assume that top portion is removed, that's why we have to make this bottom part thick. So this part is to be kept thick, while this top part is to be kept thin. So this completes the development of this prism when it is cut by a plane which makes 30 degree to HP and it is perpendicular to VP. Now let us solve this problem on development of cylinder. As we already discussed, development of cylinder can be obtained by parallel line development method. In the statement it is mentioned that cylinder is resting on its base on HP. So we already discussed in case of solids, whenever any solid is resting on horizontal plane, we have to first start with its top view. So let us draw top view of this resting cylinder on HP. Now we have to draw a front view which will be a rectangle with given height of axis. So as development of cylinder is a rectangle, so we have to first of all obtain that rectangle. But before that, I have just divided this top view into 12 equal parts so that I can get 12 generators in front view, because for obtaining development of cut solid, we need to take help of those generators. That's why I have just divided this top view into 12 generators. I'm just projecting these points on front view to get all those generators in the front view. So this way I have projected all these points from top view onto the front view, and all these are the generators. So generator, I am just naming points at the base. So 1 dash means this is generator 1 1, like this is 2 2 and 12 12 and so on. So this is 6 6 and 8 8. So once we get all the generators, now we have to get this overall development of this cylinder. For that, we have to obtain first this rectangle. So first draw two parallel lines through the base and top of the cylinder. Now somewhere you can start some distance after this so that there should not be any confusion of the points. That's why I'm just starting arbitrarily after some distance. So this is the first edge of this rectangle. Now I have to get this whole rectangle as a development of this cylinder. So as we already discussed, length of, if I want to get a cylinder of radius r, then this length of rectangle should be 2 pi r. So as we know radius of the base circle, so take distance 2 pi r, say it comes somewhere up to here, and then so this is, I can say, the total development of this cylinder. So this length should be taken as 2 pi r, while the other dimension of this rectangle should be equal to height of axis. So let us say that is equal to h, because we are drawing these two parallel lines. So this is equal to height of the cylinder. Now this cylinder is cut by a plane which makes 30° to horizontal plane and perpendicular to vertical plane, and it cuts cylinder at the midpoint of its axis. So we have to first mark midpoint of the axis, and now through this point we have to draw a cutting plane which makes 30° to vertical plane. So I am just drawing one line making 30°, and just I am converting it into a cutting plane. So this is the required cutting plane. Now we have to consider common points which are common to the generator and cutting plane. But before that, as I have to obtain those points on the development, I have to first get all the generators on the development. So whole these rectangles or 2 pi r length we have to convert into 12 equal parts. Now there are two methods. One is accurate method, other one is approximate method. For converting this accurately into 12 parts, we have to take help of the division of line, or otherwise you can take distances of arc from the top view. Like if I want to take distance between two generators, then this is the distance between two generators. But as we see here the distance is curved and we are taking straight line distance. That's why if you go on marking points like this, it will fall some distance short. It is because we are taking those distances of arc but taking in the form of straight line. That's why if you want to get exact development, we have to convert this into 12 equal parts. As we know the method of converting into 12 equal parts, we can draw any line at certain angle, and then on this line we can mark 12 parts: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and say 12. And now we have to join these points with the end point of this rectangle. like this, I have obtained 12 parts of this particular length 2 pi r. From this we have to draw vertical generators. So this way. Now there is some inaccuracy because I am not using scale, but still you can understand the procedure. So I have divided all these this total length into 12 equal parts, which are 12 generators. So 1, 2. So again, if we start from 1, last generator should again be 1. Now we have to obtain development of this solid. To obtain development of the solid, we have to now consider common points to the cutting plane and the generators. So here let us say generator 1 is cut, I am naming common point as A dash. Here generator 2 is cut, B dash. So like this, C dash, D dash. So this way, these are the common points. So B is the point on generator 2 and L is point on generator 12. So like this, wherever there are 2 generators, I have considered 2 points. Wherever there is only 1 generator, I have considered 1 point. Now we have to obtain all those points on the developed surface. So for that, draw horizontal projectors from all these points. So I have drawn projectors through all these points. Now we have to locate every common point on respective generator. If I say point A lies on generator 1. So wherever this projector meets generator 1, I have to name this point as A. Generally points on the development are named by capital letters. You can follow any process. I am naming the points with capital letters. So A is on generator 1. Now as we see, 1 again appears at the end. So along the same horizontal projector, we can locate point A here. Likewise, now B is on generator 2 and L is on generator 12. So wherever this horizontal projector meets 2 and here 12, we get points B and on this side L. So like this, we can go on marking the points. And on generator 7, point G. So this way we have obtained all the points on the respective generators. Now you can easily imagine, when I cut this curved surface, when a curved surface is cut by a plane surface, the line of intersection will be in the form of curve. That's why we have to join all these points by smooth curve. So we start from A. Again, as per convention, when I cut this solid, the top portion is assumed to be removed. That's why, as per convention, we have to make this bottom part thick. This part thick indicates that it is the part which is retained, while the thin part indicates that it is the part which is removed. Now, on development also we have to follow the same procedure. We have to make this bottom part thick. So the bottom part is made thick, the curve should also be thick, and the top part should be thin. So while drawing initially the overall development, we have to take care that we draw all these lines, generators, by thin lines, and after getting the developed surface, we have to only make that part thick which is retained. Remember, generators are the imaginary lines. That's why we do not draw them with thick lines. So all the generators where it is in the retained portion, or it is in the removed portion or in the retained portion, should always be thin, and they should not be drawn by thick lines. So this is the way we obtain development of lateral surface. What is the meaning of this? If I want to get such a cylinder which is cut by a cutting plane, and if I want to get such a cylinder, then it can be obtained by this much surface. So if you just roll this surface back and make it meet at the two edges, you will get a cylinder of this much diameter and this much height. Thank you.